Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. Welcome to episode 5 of my free-to-play series for new players. In this series, I'm playing through the game on a fresh free-to-play account, solo, also not using any guild buffs or auction house or handy-downs, things like that. So in episode 4, we finished up with some of the level 3 quests in the market. For this episode, I ran back to the harbor, and we're going to run through Waterworks today. So I did do a few things since last episode. So first of all, I did run a few quests. I wanted to get up to level 5, so I am now level 5. The quests I've run since last episode, I ran Bringing the Light twice, once on hard and once on elite. And I did run through Waterworks, the chain that we're going to play through today. I ran through it on normal. So today we're going to run through it on hard since we've unlocked hard. A couple other things. In terms of enhancements, made a few little changes with my extra. Oops, not that. A few little things. I took a few points in Sacred Defender to get +6 PRR. Looking to get Sacred Defender stance and some of this first tier of improved Sacred Defense as soon as I can, in addition to some of this other stuff. I really, honestly, if I wanted to be optimal, I would get rid of this, since this isn't doing anything for me, because the search still continues for a great sword. I still have not found a great sword. Technically I found one great sword, but it was an unholy great sword, so it would have given me a permanent negative level, so I didn't use that. So we still are looking for a great sword to use as our favored weapon. Now, I know since last episode, a few of y'all mentioned, one person mentioned in the comments that why not buy one from the broker, and you could. So there are weapon brokers, armor brokers over in the marketplace, but those lists populate based on things players sell to them. So I didn't want to buy one from there just because I'm trying to not use auction house, and I thought about it, but it's still, to me, that kind of counts as auction house, so I'm not doing that. I just want to use things I find. But as a new player, like, you totally should check that out if you want to. What else? Oh, I bought a level 5 hireling from the marketplace. I did find in my first run through Waterworks this ring, which is a striding +5% ring of resist fire, so a resist fire clicky, which is kind of nice, and striding +5%. I haven't had a striding item yet, so this gives me a little bit better speed when my expeditious retreat clickies run out. I also switched my armor to this combat mastery +3 armor, so I have some better DCs for my stunning blow and for my trips. But that's the only changes I've made. Let's see, anything else? Oh, I also went to the market and I topped up my potions. So like I bought a few more resist acid, and I bought a few more cure poison. My other resist potions I topped off, and I also bought a wand of bull strength, which, since I only have a strength +1 item so far, this is going to give me, for 5 minutes every time I use it, strength +4, which is nice because that gives me an extra DC on my stunning blow and trip, and another +1 to hit and damage. I'm over here. I'm starting near the bank, so I want to show you guys just a quick little tip here. So in the bank, you have your character bank, which you can put anything in there. You also have your shared account bank, but you have to buy that, so that's not free. But you have crafting storage as well. You get some free slots, so you can put like augments in here, and also any kind of collectible you pick up you can put in there. I wanted to show you a nice trick with banks. So if you want to say, let's say our collectibles bag is full. So let's say we want to move these to the bank. Instead of emptying it in our inventory and then dragging them over one by one thing you can do with any part of your bank is you can just drag the bag directly to the bank like that. And you can see that it took everything out of the bag and put it into the bank. So just another thing to keep in mind with bags. So we're going to go ahead and auto gather, because I know I had a little bit of overflow there. So I had some collectibles going into my inventory. So what you can do also is, even though it's full now, you can go ahead and just drag it over periodically, and it will still put any item. Like if I picked up more icons of Kyber, for example, it'll still put it into my bank. Even if it's full, I can stack more of those in the bank. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and go now to Waterworks, which is here it's in the south central part of the harbor here. So I have some other topics written down. As with this episode and other episodes, guys, if there's anything you want me to talk about, whether that's like just new player things or just general DDO things, or really anything, even not DDO related things, I don't care. Just post it in the YouTube comments, and I'm happy to talk about it because one thing I've noticed as I've done this series is, you know, I need some stuff to talk about during quests because I don't want to get boring. Okay, when you get to Waterworks, you're going to see this Harbor Master Zen guy. This guy will have several chalices over his head. You'll want to click on him and talk to him. So I've already done the chain once on normal, so it's not showing up for me just because I've already completed it. So you can go ahead and, but if you haven't run this yet before and you're kind of following along, you need to talk to this guy first. And then we're going to walk into the Waterworks here. So this is actually the third wilderness area that we've run into. The first one was Korthos. The second one was Cerulean Hills. And this third one is the Waterworks. So if you want to, this is another wilderness area. If you want to, you can stick around and just kill kobolds and get XP. You can explore. Like I think there's you can go underwater here. I think there's a place under there. But you can explore around this area and, you know, kill stuff, find those rare encounters if you want to. Or if you want to just do the quest, which is what I'm going to do, you can do that. So starting off, though, you can see the map's already uncovered because I've already done this on normal. So we want to go down the left-hand side first, and that's where the first two quests in the chain are. And then on the right side, we have the second two parts of the chain. This is a 4-part series. The whole series is 4 parts. The first 2 quests are level 3 quests, and the second 2 quests are level 4 quests. That's why I didn't do the Waterworks in my last video where I did all the level 3s, because the second part of Waterworks is level 4. So I wanted to go ahead and just wait until I was maybe level 5 before I did that. Okay, so we got Guard Timber here. You need to talk to him next. He's going to give you the first quest. Okay, so since we've done it on normal already, I've unlocked hard. So we're going to do all these on hard. And as you'll see, like hard is not a huge step up from normal. You see a much bigger step up when you go from normal to elite. That's where you see a much bigger jump. Let's go ahead and get our level 5 hireling. Go ahead and we're going to drink resist acid and then a resist fire. I found a potion of Owl's Wisdom, which I'm going to go ahead and drink just to clear up an inventory space. Then we're going to do our Bull Strength Wand. So there's a lot of traps here. Just make sure you have your acid and fire resist going as much as possible, especially later. See, I was hoping I could avoid that, but that's kind of a hard one to avoid, to be honest. There also are a lot of oozes, so you need to make sure you have some backup weapons before you do this, or you're going to break your weapon. Don't run in here with just one weapon, or run in here at least if you were able to get a muckbane. That's really good as well. Some fire traps here we got to watch out for. Lots of traps in this one. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough. You need to have a couple backup weapons. I would say 2, 3 if you want to be safe. Really safe. But you don't want to be breaking your main weapon. Okay. So in this quest here at the first part, we got to find 2 keys and 2 levers. So as we go up in difficulty as well, it's more important that you use your tactics, your trip, and your stunning blow. Like, it doesn't really matter on normal because things die in one hit anyway. And a lot of things still die in one hit on hard. But the enemies start to do more damage, especially on elite. You want to be stunning and tripping stuff just so that you take less damage. And in the case of stun, so that the enemies take more damage when you hit them. Okay, so there's also quite a bit of randomization in these quests. So sometimes there's a chest up here that has one of the keys we need, but it's not here all the time. It can be in a few different places. I'm not sure exactly how many, but at least 2 So I know there's a chance for it to be in this other room as well. So as you're doing this quest, you're following along, you know, these locations of these quests and NPCs we need to find won't necessarily be the same for you as they are for me. Because the first run through this, the key was up there, but it's not for this one. So I believe it can also have a chance to be in here. Yeah, see, there it is. It's over here. So it can be over here, and I've also seen it up here, if I recall correctly. So it can spawn in a few different places, but this chest has the key, one of the keys we need. So Nash guard room key. So if you want to jump up here, you can, but there's really nothing up here except for crates to break. Might be a collectible up there as well. I'm not sure. All right, so we got one key. Go ahead and just work our way through here. Try not to miss any rooms, because you need to go through most of these areas to find everything you need. Go ahead and use my Expedious Retreat clicky. Okay, there's one of the levers we need. So there's also a chest up there. If we want to get it, we can. There's also, it is, you know. All right, we'll go ahead and get it. I believe there is a trap here when we open the box. Maybe not. Whoops. Don't do what I did. I don't know how that poison trap didn't hit me. Let's see. Dire glaciated ring of... Okay, that's nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the complaints with new players is traps. I mean, it's rough sometimes. It's kind of not practical. You can avoid them best you can, but sometimes it's... I mean, I could have avoided that latter one by just not running up there. I actually didn't follow my previous playthrough, so I didn't even remember that was there. But yeah, it's you know, just do the best you can. But it can be rough if you if I was on elite, I would have done quite a bit more damage. Okay. Okay, we got a door here. This is the door that requires one of the two keys we need, which we don't have the correct one. So we're gonna have to go down here. So our key will unlock this one. Then our next key will be in here. So it's one of these quests where you need the key to get another key that you need. So we got the Chief's key. Prudent Cloak of Dodge. Ooh, we finally got a wisdom item. Nice. Okay, so this is the first, that's another thing I haven't gotten yet is a wisdom item. So we're going to go ahead and equip that. So that means I don't have to bother as much with casting my Owl's Wisdom, because now I have enough wisdom natively, because I need 11 wisdom to cast my level 1 spells. So I will lose cold absorption and electric resistance, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I don't think there's... Well, there is some kobolds that shoot lightning spells, but I think I'd rather have the wisdom and a little bit of dodge too, which I don't believe I had any dodge previously. All right, so we got our other key, so we got to go over here where we were previously and use our second key. So that Wisdom Cloak's nice because I can finally cast my Divine Favor without having to worry too much, you know, about whether my Owl's Wisdom wand. I'll still use my Owl's Wisdom wand, but it's nice to not have to rely on it to be able to cast Divine Favor. Okay. Almost done with this first one. Oh, yeah, I should not have gone in here. My bad. I forgot about that fire trap, guys. This is actually not required to go in here. That fire trap on Elite is very, very deadly. So don't be like me, guys. Though I'm on hard, so I can kind of get away with it. Okay. Did we get our other... So we got our other lever over here as well. So we got both levers pulled. So... Still can't believe I walked into that trap. Remember we were on... when I played on Hardcore Season 8. I have a compilation on my YouTube channel. One guy I was partying with just about died there. But no, that would have done a lot of damage on Elite. So you really gotta... That was really not smart of me. Let's see. Other topics you guys asked about. So this is an optional down here if I want to do it. It's just kill spiders. I think I'm going to skip it. You guys, I think we already talked about alignment. You guys asked about meta magics and applying them to spells individually on your hotbars. I can't really demonstrate that because I don't have any meta magics yet. But if you did have meta magics, so that's like Quicken that makes your spells cast faster, Maximize that increases your spell power for that spell. One thing you can do is you can click on, like, for example, let's say, I have to go to my Divine Favor, I guess. So Divine Favor, right down here on my hotbar, if you right click, you can auto assign, say, like Quicken to it, so that every time you cast that spell, it'll cast Quicken. But the alternative to doing that is going to your feats list, pulling off your meta magic, putting it on a hotbar and toggling it on. But that'll make it, say, cast Quicken for every single spell you cast. But if you only want it for a certain spell, you can just right click and use it. And the reason you'd only want it for certain spells is because meta magics, for some spells, you don't want to waste spell points. Like, there's certain spells that you may not want to Quicken, like your buffs, for example. And when you Quicken a spell, it uses more spell points. Okay, so this is one of these quests where it connects directly into the next quest inside the first quest. So this is rescuing Arlos. So this is a quest all about rescuing Arlos and NPC. So it is an escort quest. So be wary of that. And I think I just took... I gotta change this on my hotbar. So you can fail this quest at the end if you let Arlos die. So what we're gonna do first is clear the path of kobolds. There's a few different ways you can approach this quest as well. There's a few different paths. You'll see a center bridge area here, and you can go around a few different ways. We'll just go the main path. Another trap you gotta look out for. Be careful with your hirelings. You may have to auto stop them or teleport them, because they will run directly into traps. Hirelings are not smart in DDO. Okay, so we can go... So the main prison is this way, but if you go this way, it'll bring you to the top of the prison. So you can go either way. I'm going to go ahead and go this way. I actually don't know about east. But you don't have to go that way. It might just be an optional. But we're going to go this way because we want to clear the path for Arlos. And also, if you go this way, depending... Ooh, oh, man. Wow. Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry for the jump cut there. I actually had to restart this second quest because I actually had my first death. I believe I rolled a 1 and got held with like 8 kobolds around me and actually died. So yeah, don't be like me. Don't roll a 1. But anyways, this second quest, so we're restarting it just back here on hard. This is an escort quest. So for this quest, you got to rescue Arlos, and he can be in a few different places. Oh, and by the way, I need to get my buffs going here. He can be in a few different places. We're going to go straight, and we're going to find a jail cell. Actually, a variety of jail cells. Don't walk into traps like me. Straight here, there's a couple different ways you can approach this quest. So you can go straight, which will bring you to the bottom level of the prison, or you can go right, which will bring you to the upper level of the prison. Really need to have my resist going, like I wasn't when I died. So let's have a resist going. I think electricity as well. Some of these casters in Waterworks are pretty deadly. Especially, you know, you're running a tune with no guild buffs, right? And this is where I died last time, right here. I got held by the caster, and all these kobolds jumped on me. So the reason we're going this way is because this blue lever's here. And that lever is sometimes needed. Sometimes you have to pull that because it unlocks certain jail cells, and sometimes Arlos can be one of those. Now, sometimes he's not. But that's basically why I go this way. It just is a little bit faster. You also find these other prisoners. Oh, actually, this is Arlos. Okay, he's right here. There's also other prisoners you can find. We got lucky there, actually. Arlos is right there. So he's not always there. Sometimes he's, like, down here. He can be in a number of these different cells. So what we're going to do is Arlos will activate. When you talk to him, he will activate. So we just need to make sure the area is clear, which we've already cleared it, but these monsters, as you can see, spawned anyway after we found Arlos. So we want to clear this area for him, because again, if Arlos dies, the quest ends and you have to restart. Yeah, I'm really glad I picked up that wand of bull strength. That's actually making a big difference in my success on these stunning blows. All right, so the area is clear. Yeah, I'm really happy he's there. I mean, that saves us a lot of time. Like, we don't have to go up and around. We don't have to do the optional. We can just grab him and go. I'm going to kill some of these mobs that might chase us. All right, so here's Arlos, and there's other prisoners if you want to do the optional. There's also the optional warden is upstairs as well, but we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to do the main quest, rescue Arlos. So you just got to bring him all the way back to the beginning. If you want to, if you need to, you can actually manually select him and have your hireling heal him. See, like that. If you need to, if he takes damage. And that's it, easy peasy. We got lucky with the RNG there. So I spoke about rolling a 1. So what that means is, so crowd control, like hold person, is something you'll see mobs. Make sure you talk to this guard after you're done. You'll see mobs cast on you. So there's a D20 system in DDO. So if every time you go for a save, right, you roll a D20. And if you roll a 1, you automatically fail, no matter how good your saves are. you always fail on a 1. Now, there are some exceptions. So there are feats like epic reflexes, for example, that you can take much later on in the game, where that give you the ability to not fail on a 1. And there's some other abilities that give you that throughout the game. But in general, though, if you roll a 1, you will always fail. And if you roll a 20, you're always going to succeed. So just something to keep in mind. That's just how DDO works. So if you're wondering why, like, oh man, why did I get tripped? Why did I get stunned? Why did I get held? Even though I have really good saves. Well, the reason is because you might have rolled a 1. And you can see the die pop up every time you do an attack. Let me attack a Kobold. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it here in a second. But you can see that D20, and you might, if you don't see it, you might have to go to your options menu and enable it. But it should be there. As far as I know, it's there by default. Okay, you see on the right here, you see 20. I roll a 20 right here. Bottom right of my screen, it's showing my dice roll. So the monster is just like you. I mean, it is based on pen and paper D&D, right? So just like you, monsters have their own rolls and their own saves. So a couple other questions you guys had was, one of them was multi-classing. So in DDO, you don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to keep the same class throughout the whole game, right? Instead of being a 20 paladin, you could be a 18 paladin 2 fighter. So there's certain advantages and disadvantages. Generally, and this is very general because it's very build specific, but generally, multi-classing will provide you more flexibility. The main thing, so you may be able to get some low-hanging fruit from other enhancement trees, like some popular splashes in DDO is like one fighter for haste boost, right? That's one I've talked about already. Or 2 rogue for evasion. Or a popular one is 1 warlock level on a melee, so that you can take the arcane warrior feat and benefit from that by having a warlock aura. So those are some popular splashes that I tend to see in game. Okay, we're at quest 3 now. The disadvantage of multi-classing is you lose your capstone. So if you go on your enhancements, every tree has a capstone. So right here, Champion of Good. It requires all the capstones, no matter what enhancement tree you're looking at, no matter what class. I'm not talking about racial trees, but class enhancement trees have a capstone. You can only take that if you are pure. So that's the main disadvantage. There also might be other class-based things that you get at level 20 of that class, so you'll lose out on that if you splash. It'll also slow your advancement. Say like if I don't know, let's say I was playing a melee cleric and I took a fighter level at level 2, I would be getting my spells 1 level later because I multi-classed, right? So when I'm at character level 6, I would only be cleric level 5, right? So I'm getting all my spells 1 level later than a pure cleric. So that's just a couple things to take in mind. But you can multi-class in any other class you want that allows it for your alignment. So like, for example, you can't be a monk barbarian because monk requires lawful and barbarian requires chaotic. So there are some restrictions, but generally, unless you have an alignment issue, you can multi-class into any other class. Also, the other thing is you can't take a level of an archetype. So like if you're a fighter, you can't take a level of Dragon Lord. So if there are certain archetypes which are basically subclasses in DDO, and you can't take both the base class. Another one is Dark Apostate for Cleric, for example. You can't have levels of both base Cleric and Dark Apostate. All right, back to the quest now. What we're trying to do to advance in the quest is get down this vent. So you can see there's 2 green crystals, 2 blue crystals. So to get to those crystals, we have to first pull a red and a yellow lever. So there's the red and the yellow is across the room. So this is going to let us, this is going to open the way to other passages that give us access to the blue and green levers we need. So we're going to pull both of those. And both of those correspond to one of these tunnels. So the yellow lever opened this yellow tunnel. So we'll go down this first, but we got to go down on both. You can go through them in any order. It doesn't matter. Okay, this part's kind of fun. So there's an optional, let me kill these oozes first. There's an optional part in this quest. You can go underwater and you can have someone, either your hireling or another party member, pull a lever for you periodically. That'll open different passageways to get through this underwater swim section. And if you want to do that, you kind of get to the end and there's a little chest over there, but it's just optional. You don't have to do that. So I'm not going to do that today. But what you do have to do though, is you do have to go through, I'm going to refresh this stuff that wore out. You do have to make your way through this little acid corridor here. So make sure before you go down here, drink a acid resist potion, because you can't. So if you have evasion, it's nice to try to use this, but otherwise you just have to try to get through this and without without taking damage. And I really should have had my hireling stand place back there, but just try to time it the best you can. There's these valves that you'll find. They will disable the traps behind you. So if you're with a party, only one person has to do this. Did I enter this on hard? I did, right? Yeah, I did. But yeah, there's no way around this. You just gotta try to time it. Okay, there we go. Pretty good. I don't think I got hit. Okay, so that you have to go through there though, because you have to pull these levers to advance. So if you want to do the underwater section I talked about, it'll pop you out over here, and you can get that chest. But I'm not going to worry about it today. Like I said in previous videos, I'm not going to be doing, for the most part, I'm not going to be doing optionals unless they're really, really notable. Okay, so that one's done. So now we're going to go to the red valve now. Although, now that I think about it, maybe I should do that optional just to show you, because it would be kind of instructive with hirelings. Okay, I'm taking a lot of fire damage. I'm going to take fire resist here. Yeah, just be wary of like what. See, I can see the little flame icon pop over my head, so I knew there I was taking fire damage. So I'm getting serious remnants because I'm running it on hard. That's something you won't see in normal. So one thing that changes when you go up to hard is you start getting monster champions, which are special monsters that are usually more powerful than normal. However, once you kill one, we have to pull this lever. I believe this is a required lever in order to advance. But it's when you kill one, you sometimes get mysterious remnants, and mysterious remnants are good because you can use them to buy certain things in the the Hall of Heroes, among other things. But you can use them for like you can get I think you get augments, filigree. I'd have to check the list, but there's a variety of things you can buy. There's also a champion hunter week that'll occasionally be a promotion that'll appear, and that allows you to buy like certain augments, like I think insightful, constitution, insightful, other various insightful augments you can buy with mysterious remnants. So there's some stuff you can buy with them. Okay, so here is, I'm thinking now that maybe I should do that optional on that other side. Let's go back and do the optional. I'm just kind of realizing that it would be a good way to show you guys how to manage hirelings, because you can use your hireling to get through that section. So let me, let's go do that on second thought. So we don't have to, like we've pulled the levers right, so we can go through and advance to the quest now. But let's go back. Let me. I've changed my mind. Let's go show you guys how to do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do, actually before we jump in, we're gonna drink or use our water breathing. Okay. All right, so we need our hireling as well. So to do this optional, you have to go through tunnels, right? So this lever alternates the gates. So let me get our hireling here. Hireling's going to, actually we can pull the first, but we need to have our hireling use this lever. So you see this gate right here? That gate will open when you pull this lever, but it will, get my hireling over here, but it will cause the other one, the previous one, to close. So anyways, let me, my hireling stay there. So just have your hireling stand in place. Make sure you select the lever. See, I right clicked on it. It's selected in my window. You see that? So what I got to do now is manually have the hireling use that lever that's selected. So you see that? The hireling's using the lever. Make sure you don't deselect the lever. If you do, you could trap yourself under here. So just keep clicking on this little gear button. Make sure you don't right click on anything else. You don't want to lose your target. So right there. See, there you go. We got our hireling control that lever for us. Now we can go up here and kill some mobs and get ourselves a chest. The other cool thing about that water breathing clicky, by the way, that we got in Korthos is it does give water breathing to everyone around you. So, see this guy right here? Well, I already killed him, but he had a little crown on top of his head. That's how you know they're a champion. So if you see any monster champions when you're running on hard and elite, you should always try to kill them first because they're going to do a lot more damage than regular mobs. Hey, look what we got. I'm glad I did this. We got a returning throwing axe. This is one thing I've been looking for. So a returning thrower is one that never runs out of ammo. So we're going to keep that. And now we can get rid of these other throwers. So you see these throwers, these throwing hammers. There's 100 of them. So they're limited. Every time I throw it, you know, it's going to go from 100 to 99. So there's limited ammo. This one's returning, has a returning trait. So this is unlimited. So this is something we need because there's periodically through the game, you're going to find levers. We're going to put this over here. You're going to find levers that you need to hit, or maybe a certain mob or something you need to do with a ranged weapon. So on a melee, you need to have a returning item in your inventory at all times. All right, so we are done. So we can go ahead and go back. Just got to go back the way we came. We don't have water breathing, but we should be okay. That last lever right there pulls all the gates up, so you don't have to worry about toggling with the hireling again on the way back. All right. So let's go down. So this next part is one of the more difficult parts of this quest. And I did not mean to hit those oozes with my main weapon. So this can be a little more difficult. There's a bunch of kobolds, casters, that are going to throw all kinds of spells at us from range, and they're not going to be particularly easy to get to. So what we want to do before we jump down here, make sure you got your resist fire, resist electric, resist acid. I'm just going to take all of them. You also want to use your feather falling cloak that we got in Korthos. Okay, let's hop down. Another thing you can do if you want to fall faster, you can hold block and it'll cancel your feather fall, but we didn't want to do that. You don't want to fall in the water there. That's why we're using feather fall. Because you're just going to get pummeled by all these casters and throwers and such. So just try it as fast as you can. Get to these range kobolds, these shamans. They can be real nasty. Just wipe them out. But yeah, this is a very common place where I see people die. This is for sure a tough part of this quest. Yeah, just try to. Like I'm doing there, try to, whoops, don't do that, but try to, trip and stun as you can, just so you take less damage. Can I make this jump, actually? I cannot. Okay. Well, that's okay. The main thing you have to do is there's actually past it, because I wanted to hurry up and kill these mobs. But see this little rune? There's a little lever over here in the center that you need to pull. That'll open that door. And one thing you may notice is hirelings aren't the smartest. Like right now, I'm down like 2/3 health and it's still not healing me, you may have to like select yourself and manually click the Cure Serious Wounds button for your hireling to get them to actually heal you. If you need to, with all the oozes down here, if you need to, you know, you can, in between quest 2 and 3 in this chain, you can you can hop out, go to the tavern and repair and as needed, or sell if you need inventory space. Okay, yep, we just got, this is the final fight here. There are a lot of, go ahead and cast this. There are a lot of mobs here. A lot of monsters. So generally in combat, and I talked about this before, but generally the order of things is you want to make sure you hit up, and the item we need, acquire password, is in this box here. So generally you want to go for champions first, or reapers if you're on reaper mode, because they are the most dangerous. And then generally it's casters, and then generally it's the melee mobs. Just because the casters can hold you or do all kinds of other nasty things to you typically. Whereas melees can too. Sometimes melees can stun you, but for the most part, casters are going to be a little more dangerous. Okay, guys, so that is quest 3. We got one more. Okay, so this quest is we got to find Venn and unfortunately, it's an adventurer. As far as I remember from the storyline, this is an adventurer that went into the Waterworks and did not make it out alive. So we need to find his remains. And his remains, this is another random one, like Arlos was in quest 2 of Waterworks. His remains can be in any of these cells, and there are tons of different cells. So, and it's not so easy to see either by just peering in. It's so you need to pay attention as you go through, try to find it. But it is completely random. So if you're following along, he's not going to be in the same spot for you as he is for me. So we're just going to walk around. In every single cell we pass, we're going to look for a dead body. And it is a little tricky too, because you'll see some skeletons and such, like right there. That's not what we're looking for, even though it is remains. It's a very specific, like, almost looks like it's like a decaying body or like a zombie looking thing, almost. But it'll stand out a little bit more than a normal skeleton. It's kind of hard to describe unless you've actually seen it. And if you want, you can go ahead and just clear all the rooms and then start looking. So you also see these guys who are other prisoners. That's just part of the optional. You see optional up here, free Tunnelworms to other prisoners. We'll go ahead and free them, but you know, we don't have to. It's just a little bit of XP. Nope, that is not it. This is an optional, we'll go ahead and do it. These shamans, as you can see, I'm taking quite a bit of damage. They are nasty. What did we get? Resonating scale mail. I know I said wouldn't normally do optionals, but you know, that one's short. All right, so let's go ahead and go up here. I believe sometime there's a rare in here. I'm not entirely sure. It might just be breakables. Nope. There's another optional prisoner. May as well get those as we go. Nothing there. Nothing there.
Cruel implements of torture are scattered around this room.
One of the nice things about being paladin is you are relatively tanky, so you can afford to take a few hits here from these shamans and be okay. But if you're on a very a less tough caster class, you may find yourself struggling more. Especially on elite, like this is one of the sections of the game where like not having ship buffs really, like, you'll really see a difference in the difficulty of the content if you're in a guild versus not. And as a new player, you should try to join a guild. Getting those guild buffs is going to make the game a lot easier for you. So that is not what we're looking for. There it is. So that's what we're looking for. See that guy? We'll kill these kobolds and then come back. But it's almost like a because I mean it's basically a decaying corpse, but it looks kind of more zombie-like in terms of the character model. But yeah. Here we go. And we're done. That's all we got to do. We can go through here, and I think there's some more optionals and things we want, but I'm not going to bother with that. So one last thing you got to do, guys, before you finish, is you do need to make sure you run and pick up your quest. And unfortunately for this one, you do have to run all the way back to where the first part was. So we have to run, and there's no way to get over there by just going straight west. You have to go all the way back here and then all the way back up. So it's really faster to just recall here and then re-enter rather than run down through this again and then up and around. But you do want to make sure you turn this quest in, because there are some pretty, if you're like me and you're just using what you pick up, there's some potentially useful items in this chain in reward list.
The strong smell of sewage permeates the air around you. You hear?
So yeah, that's Waterworks. I mean, I would say really the first like major challenge potentially, because the shamans in these quests are pretty they are pretty infamous for their damage. They can just one-shot you on elite. So give this a shot. If you're a new player and you want some challenge, and you're like me, you don't really have much in terms of gear, and you have no past lives or anything, run through this on hard and then try it on elite, or maybe even R1. It'll be challenging. For sure. And you can probably do a better job than I was of keeping your resists up. Keeping your resists up so that you don't take as much damage from those casters is pretty important. All right, and this is where we finish. All right, so we got a dagger. We've got a few other named items. I would say the moss weave cloak, if you just want a cool cosmetic, I think it looks kind of neat, to be honest. Docent, we don't need that. Splint mail, sonic absorb. Nope, nope, nope. Tunnelworm champion belt. That's funny. It actually has nothing on it. That might just be a display bug. I know this spider's shooting at me, but I'm not too worried about him. So nothing really that I see. There is feather falling boots, which is nice. So I'll probably pick that up for our feather. That is actually real nice for because we don't have a feather falling item yet. Venn's necklace. I could, no, I don't want that because I'll lose my, yeah, we're going to take the feather falling boots. So that's actually really nice. Let me kill this spider real quick and then I'll talk about that. Oh gosh. Failed my save. Okay, guys. So Let's see. So our feather falling boots. So now we can get rid of this cloak from Korthos. So this cloak from Korthos, this feather cloak, gave us 1 use per rest of feather fall. This just gives us permanent feather fall. So whenever we put these boots on, we will have permanent feather fall. So that's an awesome pickup for us. Now we don't have to worry about having charges. Just anytime we want feather fall, we can just put those boots on. So that'll be awesome. Probably before next episode, and I'll just shift these. I'll probably need to do a little bit in terms of hotbar management. Let me do this. This will be fine. I'll just put these right here. That'll be fine. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, put anything you want me to talk about, questions, whatever, please put it in the YouTube comments. Hope you're still enjoying the series. And let me know if you're still liking it. If you are, I'll keep doing it. As long as the views are decent, I'll keep doing it. All right, guys. Enjoy. I hope you enjoy the video. See you next time. Take care.